Welcome to my channel, and this is Style in V. So this is a tutorial on how to make this palazzo pants with an elastic waistband and two side pockets. So you can see how the pants looks like after drafting and sewing. So on this video you'll be learning how to make this pants. So let's get started. So to make this palazzo pants, you'll be needing about 2 yards of crepe fabric to make this. So I'm gonna have to fold my fabric into two to cut the front part of this pants like so. Okay, so for the length of this pants, I'm using 44 inches as my length, and I added 2 extra inches for folding allowance. So the next thing for me to do is to measure my elastic width, and I'll be using an elastic width of 1 inches. So from the top of my fabric, I will minus this 1 inch elastic band that I will be using. Okay, and I'll mark my hip line like this. So my hip line is 10 inches. I'll go ahead and mark it like this. Okay, after that, the next line for me to mark is my crouch line, and I'll come down by 2 inches from my hip line to get my crouch line. Now remember, I said you should minus your 1 inches elastic before taking all your lines. Okay, so the next thing for me to do is to divide my hip circumference on my hip line by 4 inches, and I'll go ahead and mark right here, okay, on my hip line, and I'll add 1 inches for ease and joining allowance right here. So the next thing I'll do is to measure whatever I have on my hip line, and I'll input the same thing on my crouch line like this. Okay, as you can see me doing, that is my hip divided by 4 plus 1 inches, and whatever thing I have here, I'll input the same thing on my waistline. So this upper side of my fabric is my waistline, and I'll connect all the lines together using a straight line like this. Okay, as you can see me doing right here. So the next thing for me to do is to get my crouch extension, and I'll measure whatever thing I have on my hip line, and whatever measurement I have, I'll divide it by 4. Okay, and this is now my crouch extension. So look at how I am placing it. So this is now my crouch extension, and another method is to divide your hip circumference by 20. Okay, so that will be your front crouch extension, and I'll just go ahead and mark right here. So the next thing for me to do is to give it the crouch curve, and I'll connect from my hip line using a C shape, okay, to meet my crouch extension like this, and this is what we have. So the next thing for me to do is to measure whatever measurement I have on my crouch line, and I'll take it down to meet the hem of my pant like this. Okay, as you can see me doing right here, I'll take the measurement I have, and I'll just connect it straight down to meet the hem of my pant, as you can see me doing, because this is a free palazzo pant right here. And after doing this, I'll just go ahead and cut it off like this. Okay, following the shape that we marked earlier. So the next thing for us to do is to draft the back pattern of our palazzo pants, and I've gone ahead to fold my fabric into two like this, and I'll be placing the front piece on the back pattern like this. Okay, now the back pattern is longer than the front piece by 1.5 inches. Okay, so after that, I'll go ahead and extend all the lines together. That is my crouch line, my hip line, and my waistline. I'll just go ahead and mark a straight line. Now I'll go ahead and mark 2.5 inches as my back crouch extension. Okay, that's starting from the front extension. I'll go ahead and mark 2.5 inches as my back extension, and on the hip line, I'll go ahead and mark 2 inches, and on the waistline, I'll go ahead and mark 1.5 inches. Now let me repeat the same process. On the waistline, I mark 1.5 inches, on the hip line I mark 2 inches, and on the back crouch extension I mark 2.5 inches. Okay, and I'll just go ahead and connect all the lines like this, as you can see me doing right here. Okay, so after this, I'll just go ahead and extend the crouch extension, which is 2.5 inches, down to meet my hemline. Okay, as you can see me doing. So the length of the pants is equal. It's just the upper side of our back pants that is higher than the front pants, okay? But every other length is the same. So I'll just go ahead and extend my crouch extension, which is 2.5 inches. I'll bring it straight down to meet the hem of our pants like this, okay? As you can see me doing right here. So the next thing for us to do is to come up by 1 inch on the center part of the back pattern, okay? And I'll connect it to meet the sides of the front waistline like this, okay? As you can see me doing right here. And I'll connect the two lines together, and after doing this, I'll just go ahead and trim up this shape, okay? So this is all for the drafting of the pants. So this is what we have. So the next thing for me to do right now is to mark out the pocket length. So from the top of my pants like this, I'll come down by 2 inches from the waistline, and I'll notch, and after these 2 inches, I'll go ahead and mark 6 inches, okay? And I will notch like this, okay, on the sides of it. Now I'll do the same thing to the back pattern. I'll come down by 2 inches from the waistline, and I will go ahead and notch it right here, and after these 2 inches, I'll come down by 6 inches. So this will be the length of my pocket. I'll come down by 6 inches, and I will notch like so, okay? As you can see me doing right here. After this, I'll join the front crouch, and I'll also go ahead and join the front and join the back crouch together like this, okay, using 1/2 inch on all sides like this. And I'll keep, and the next thing for us to do is to cut out the pockets for this pants, and I'll be using a width of 7 inches and length of 7 inches to cut out this pocket. So I'm going to fold my fabric on fold like this, and using a width of 7 inches and length of 7 inches right here, okay? So I'll just go ahead and mark it out like this, okay? As you can see me doing right here. So after marking this square shape like this, I'll just go ahead and cut it off like this. Then I'll give it the pocket shape, okay? So remember, I'm cutting 4 pockets, that is 2 on each side, 2 on the other sides, okay? That's for the front and back. So I'll just go ahead and give it the pocket curve like this, as you can see me doing right here. So this is one of the simplest way of making your pants pocket. So this is stress free, and you're just good to go. So you can see how my hands is to be able to enter the pockets freely. So after doing this, I'll open up my pants on the sides where I notched, and I'll place the pocket shape on it right here, okay? I'll go ahead and place the pocket shape, right side facing right side. So this is it. I'll just go ahead and sew, starting from these 2 inches to meet the 6 inches. I'll go ahead and sew it straight like this, okay? As you can see me placing it. Let me place it again for you guys to see. I'll go ahead and place from the 2 inches to meet the 6 inches, and I'll just go ahead and sew it. Now I'll do the same thing on all sides, the 4 sides of our pants. So guys, I'm done sewing the crouch area, and this is what we have of both the front and back. And I've also gone ahead to sew the pockets, so you can see what we have. All the 4 pockets, I've attached them together. So the next thing for me to do is to place my front piece right side to meet the back piece right side, okay? So this is to join our crouch line together, right side facing right side, and I'll join the midpoint of our crouch extension like this, okay? And you just go ahead and hold it up with a pin, and then you sew from one end to meet the other end straight down to meet the hemline of the pants, okay? So this is to join both the front and back crouch together. So guys, I am done sewing the crouch together. So this is what we have. You can see what we have right here. And the next thing for us to do right now is to shape this pants. So this is what I will do right here. So now you notice that the back is bigger than the front. That's not a problem. You just go ahead and drag the front to meet the back piece right here, okay? Now you go ahead and hold it up with a pin like this. Ensure that the pockets of the same size, okay? You go ahead and hold it on with your pin. That is the 2 pockets, they'll be on the same size together. You go ahead and hold it on with your pin. All your sides must be equal like this. Okay, as you can see me showing you guys right here. So just go ahead and do all this, whatever thing you do to one end, to one side, you do it to the other side. And I'll just go ahead and mark my 1/2 inches for shaping allowance. I'll mark from the waistline to meet where my pocket starts, and I'll follow the shape of my pockets like this, round, okay, like this, and I'll continue. Okay, so you can see how I am shaping this. So I'll just go ahead and sew from this point down here, follow the shape of my pocket, and I'll continue to meet the hem line. Okay, so whatever thing I do to one end, I'll do the same thing to the other end. So guys, I am done shaping, and this is what we have. So you can see that my hands were able to pass through with ease. Okay, so the next thing for us to do is to measure our waistline. Okay, you go ahead and measure your waist round from one end like so. Okay, so you go ahead and measure it carefully to meet the other end like this. Okay, so this is for our waistband. So I'll just go ahead and measure it from one end like so to meet the other end. So mine was 51 inches. Okay, so I'm going ahead to cut out a band of 52 inches, and the width of this band is 4 inches. Now let me explain better. Now I cut out a width of 4 inches, which is on fold will be 2 inches. Remember, we'll be using an elastic of 1 inches. Now the 1 inch on fold is for the elastic band, and 1/2 inch is for ease. Okay, and the remaining 1/2 inch is for joining allowance. Okay, now why I cut out 52 inches for the length of the elastic is because remember I measured round of my waist, which is 51 inches, and the 1 inch is for joining allowance. So I'll just go ahead and open it up right here, and I'll mark 1/2 of an inch. Remember I added 1 inch, so 1/2 inch on one side and 1/2 inch on the other side. That was what made it 1 inch. So I'll just go ahead and shape out the 1 inch like this. Okay, I'll go ahead and sew it right here. So guys, I am done sewing it, and this is what we have. So the next thing for me to do is to fold it. I'll go ahead and fold it into 2 equal halves like this. Okay, I'll go ahead and fold it into 2 equal halves. Now I'll get the midpoint, that is where I joined the waistband. I'll place it to meet the midpoint of my front piece like this. Okay, and I'll hold it on with a pin. Now I'll go ahead and sew. Yes, but before sewing it, I'll leave a space of 1 inch. Okay, I'll leave a space of 1 inch so that I'll be able to pass my elastic. I'll just go ahead and sew it round using 1/2 of an inch. I'll go ahead and sew it to my main pants piece round using 1/2 of an inch. So the next thing for us to do right now is to pass in our elastic. So guys, I'm done sewing it, and this is what we have. Okay, so this space that I left, I'll use it to pass in my elastic. And to get the length of the elastic to use, you minus 4 inches from your waist circumference. Okay, now I'll be passing this using a safety pin from one end to come out through the other end like this. Okay, so just go ahead and pass it in using your elastic like this. Okay, as you can see me doing right here. Okay, so if you're a beginner, this method is just very easy in order for you to put your elastic to your waistband. Okay, so I'll pass it from one end to come out on the on the other end. As I'm passing the elastic, I'll be dragging it, okay, so that the elastic will be able to sit well on the band. So guys, I am done passing this out. So you arrange it so that it will sit well, so that your elastic will not squeeze inside. Yes, so guys, I am done, and the next thing for me to do is to join the two sides together. I'll take it to my sewing machine and I'll join the two sides together. After that, I'll remove my safety pin and I'll close up this open part. Yeah, you remove your safety pin and you close up this open part that you left earlier. So that's all for the band. And for the hem of the pants, remember we added 2 inches allowance to the length of the pants. So I'll just go ahead and fold in 2 inches allowance and I'll sew it round. Okay, now remember we added 2 inches. I'll just go ahead and mark my 2 inches and I will fold it in and sew it round. Okay, I'll go ahead and sew it from one end to the other end. Whatever thing I do to one leg of the pant, I'll do to the other leg of the pants. Okay, after that you weave in your pants neatly and iron it. So guys, we're done, and this is the outcome of the pants. Okay, so you can see how our pants looks like. Okay, so if you follow me to this point, don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and thank you so much for watching. Okay, so you can see how the pants came out to be. So bye guys.